Hey guys, welcome back to another impressions video. This time around for the Division on the PlayStation 4, a game that came out somewhat early in 2016, but it took me a couple of months before I pulled the trigger and bought the game. And as I always say in my channel here, better late than never is my motto, because this game was fantastic. I had a ton of fun and I was addicted for a while, and I'm still playing the game. I finished the single player, quote unquote single player campaign, which you can play with other people, co-op up to 3 other people for a total of 4. Yeah, I finished what's considered the main story of the game. But this game has a ton of content, and I'm really glad I started playing this game when I did, because one of the main complaints that a lot of people had when this game was originally released is that the game lacked in extra content to keep players occupied after they finish the main story. But nowadays the game is littered with extra modes, extra DLC, and a ton of just fun stuff that has the community growing. Actually, a lot of people are still buying this game because of all the added content. And the cool thing is that the developers are very receptive to the feedback and to the input of the community. They're always releasing patches, tweaking the game or balancing the game, which is really cool. But essentially, the Division is a third-person shooter slash, I guess, light RPG type of game in which you have to basically loot a lot to get the better equipment, and whether it's guns or handguns or armor or equipment like a backpack or anything like that, you're always trying to find the better equipment. It's very similar to Borderlands, if you wanna make a comparison, or I guess Destiny, in which you always go on missions, and depending on the difficulty of the mission or the difficulty of the boss battles, the harder the missions, the more experience you get, and the better loot items you get. So there's always that constant struggle to find the better equipment, and it's so much satisfying when you get that rare item or that legendary item, and you equip it, and then you immediately notice a difference. So you always keep going back for more, and it's a very addictive type of nature of the game, which is pretty cool. I like playing these types of games. And the cool thing about the Division, well, for me cool, for some other people not so much, is the online component. This is essentially an online only game. You can play the main story by yourself if you want, but I highly recommend that you play this with other people online, especially your friends. Because the game does require a lot of teamwork, especially if the missions are pretty tough. So I did have a lot of fun playing this game here on YouTube with people like the Funny Nerd, Jay Shy from Shin Megami Talks, and a few other viewers that joined us throughout some missions. It was a really fun experience, which will continue. I mean, I have beaten the story, the main story in the game, which shows you the ending of the story. But as far as extra content and just extra modes, I'm all down for keep playing this game, and me and Leo we're talking about it. I think we're gonna keep playing this because there's just a lot of stuff to do. There's more missions, and just the overall fun of the game, the overall experience was very satisfying to us. So we're gonna keep playing the game, even though we already beat the main mission. But as far as story, it's a very interesting one. It deals with this outbreak that happened, or that started in New York City, and it was basically a viral outbreak that caused a lot of people to die. And you're basically the city is destroyed right now. It's basically only a few survived, and you're basically an agent for the Division, trying to restore the order and trying to find out what the hell happened, who are the ones to blame, and if everything can be sorted out and things like that. So you're part of the Division. You're trying to solve this, I guess, mystery, and at the same time you fight all these people that are basically crazy, that have congregated. There are people that are trying to survive and just going after you. And it's just the story is very interesting. It's somewhat simple, but towards the end, when everything unfolds and you find out who did it and what happened, I think the story becomes very, very interesting. As far as the graphics, I think the graphics are okay. Or I shouldn't say okay. I mean, I think they're really good. It's just that in typical Ubisoft fashion, when E3 came around and when they first showed this game for the very first time, the graphics looked better and people got hyped. And when the game got released, the graphics were not as good. So all the people started complaining. The same thing happened with Watch Dogs. I think that was even worse. But I think the graphics are very good considering the game is open world. You're free to explore the city of New York, obviously, and the city is very detailed. The cars that are on the streets. Whenever you go inside a building, the buildings that have a lot of detail. It's just not a cookie cutter type of environment. Each building, each apartment that you go into, they have a lot of details, a lot of different decorations and things like that to keep the game fresh. So I think the graphics are pretty good actually for what the game is, which is an open world experience. And as far as the gameplay, it's basically a cover-based third-person shooter, but it's very tactical. This is not like Uncharted where you shoot the enemies, they die immediately. Depending on the level you are and on the area of New York City that you are, it's basically like Borderlands where you shoot the enemies and the enemies have basically a life bar that keeps dropping down, obviously. And so it's in combat. As far as combat, is more like an RPG because you see for each kill you get experience points, and then you can use the experience points to get new perks, skills, and you can kind of like gear your characters towards being a medic or being a support type of character and things like that. There's tons of unlockables, and it's a complex system. It's just not point and shoot. Once you unlock your perks and skills and things like that, the game does add a very nice variety and a very nice layer of depth in terms of gameplay. I think a lot of people are saying, yeah, it's pretty repetitive, but if you play the game the way it's meant to be, using not only shooting enemies but using tactical approaches in each mission, it becomes very fun, especially when you play as a team, using microphones, communicating with your fellow teammates. I think the game becomes pretty fun actually. So the graphics are pretty good. The soundtrack, it's also pretty good, but the game relies a lot in just like the communication and how the story is narrated. I think the voice acting in the game is pretty good and things like that. But the gameplay also, being an Ubisoft game, open world, you have your collectibles. There are, I believe, over 300 collectibles in this game, and I already got them all. And this is collectibles done in a very good way because the collectibles help complete the story of the game. Whether you're going after echoes or cell phones, you get parts of the story. So I was motivated to go there and actually get every phone, every cell phone, every echo, every missing agent. There are several different types of collectibles, but I was more than happy to do that, and I did. Over 300 collectibles. It took me a while, but I got all of them. And like I said, you learn about the story of the game, and not only that, but in a similar fashion to the Far Cry games, which I also like doing the collectible for those games. The collectibles are they're very well placed so that you get to explore areas of the game that you will never explore otherwise. So sometimes you would see your map, and depending on the perks you have, there's a K9 unit perk. Like if you unlock that K9 unit, the collectibles show up in your map. So that's a very useful feature. But you may see a cell phone collectible inside a building, but then you have to figure out how to get into a building. The main door may not be open, so you may have to go around the building into a back alley, climb onto a dumpster, jump from the dumpster to an emergency stair, go up the stairs, get on the rooftop of the building, force into a door, then go make your way down to the third floor, say where the cell phone is. So it's just a very fun way of figuring how to get to the collectible, how to get into that particular room. I just had a lot of fun exploring New York City in its full glory, if you will. So collectibles for me in this game were very, very fun, even though there were 300 of them. I think collectibles were done in the right way because not only they help you explore the city and get to see all these cool little I guess places, but they also tell you about the story of the game and the characters, which is a very interesting thing. So not a whole lot to say other than that I really enjoyed this game. I know a lot of people, as soon as they see the Ubisoft logo and as soon as they see that it's a third-person shooter, completely are going to completely disregard this game. Trust me, there's a reason why this game is selling so well. There's a reason why the online community is so healthy. And you know, people are still playing this game. It's because this game is fun, it's addictive, and I dare to say it's one of the best games of 2016. So if you're interested, let me know, guys. I play this game quite frequently, so if you want to join me and other people here on YouTube to play this game online, let me know. But that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all later.